Alright guys, today we have a BMW M3 E46 that's been prepared for drifting, and we're going to do a car review on it. So let's get into what's been done to this car. So this specific BMW M3 E46 is still running the S54 engine. That's the factory engine. Makes about 332 at the crank. It's an inline six that revs to 8,000 RPM. And it's just a joy of an engine to drive. This car is a relatively stock power plant, just an intake and exhaust, so nothing insane has been done to the power plant. But what we have here is a BC coilover setup on an SLR angle kit. We still have the stock M3 limited slip differential, a hydraulic handbrake, some body kit parts, and a half cage. This car is relatively untouched. We mostly just have parts to do the alignment on it. The only other major modifications that have been done is just arms, so that the way the alignment can be dialed in. The car is just it's a street car, it's a daily driver with just some essential drift modifications, and we're gonna go take it for a drive right now and see how it actually does as a drift car. Alright, E46 M3. Just gonna feel for it autocrossing it. Power is super good already, like off the bat. This S54, just awesome power, just good low end torque, even better top end power. I'm really a big fan of these engines. Their power is just awesome. 8,000 RPM redline, super freaking cool. So let's go ahead and get into a slide. A little bit of understeer actually. All right, we got a little understeer. A lot of forward bite when you're sideways. Alright, so we're gonna drive the M3 again. The M3, we're just going out again because we're running Ironmans all around now. The first run I did, it had Kenda KR20s in the rear and Ironmans in the front. So that was kind of naturally just a little bit of an understeery setup with more grip in the rear than the front. Now the tire's a little more balanced. I'm curious to see how it feels. Alright, let's see. like it better with the full Ironman setup. Really easy to throw backies in also. With this SLR kit, it was just super easy. It didn't really take much conscious effort to do it. It just kind of like took just like, hey, you throw the car in and just like the angle will pull you out. You don't need to do much technique. We'll do one more backy. Super cool. Like I like this car a lot actually. I can like do that with such ease. Like I could just drive with one hand. Like it's just such a joy and like a symphony to drive. Like I don't know, it's really, really good. This is a really, I like this car a lot, quite a bit if I'm being frank. Man, I should have drove this. I'm gonna go be looking for M3s for sale now. Okay guys, so we just finished driving this E46 M3 and man, I really loved it. I'm probably going to go home tonight and look at these for sale. So this might not have been a good thing for me to drive. But with that said, let's talk about what the car did great. So we're going to talk about the power band first and the drivetrain. So one thing I really like about this inline six is I never felt like I needed more power. It felt like I never really got to redline, so that tells me there's a little bit of gearing somewhere we can make more power and really fully utilize the complete power band. But I never felt like I needed a clutch kick a lot, or if any at all really, because the car just had good healthy mid-range and that good inline six torque we expect of it. So the car felt great sliding power wise. It was a second gear car the whole time. The gearing was long enough to keep it through the sweeper, but it had enough low end grunt that on the tighter corners it still actually kept the wheel speed really good. The differential in this car, I was really impressed with it actually. I'd like to drive a welded diff on this exact car to feel the difference, but the M3 limited slip felt awesome. It felt great. It kept it locked really good. I'm wondering if it actually helped me when I did that backwards entry a couple times, because I'm wondering if the wheel slip changing, the two wheels changing speed, helped the car pull out of it and helped it kind of rotate back. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like it was kind of helping there a little bit. The chassis in this car is awesome. I really like the chassis in this car. The spring rate on this car, the BC coilover setup, worked phenomenally. The angle kit was great. I never felt like I ran out of angle. It was really easy to throw a backwards entry in with all that angle, but otherwise the car was really easy to drive. There's points driving I could drive one-handed and wave at someone else while I'm driving. It really didn't require that much attention to keep it in a good slide and keep it on the line I was going for. The one thing that BMWs are known for, and this one really well demonstrated, is this car has a lot of forward bite. Forward bite is when we're sideways, but the car is moving forward, if that makes sense. Imagine the car is sideways, but we're going forward, so we're able to accelerate sideways, right, without straightening out the wheel. The way this car is fundamentally, and a lot of BMW chassis are, they do that extremely excellent. It felt like it was accelerating in a straight line, but the car was still drifting. It just had that much forward bite. It felt awesome, and like honestly, this thing's probably a killer in tandem battles. You could get up on doors really easily with the ability of being able to push the car forward like that. So I would say this platform, awesome platform to drift with. Highly suggested, especially for beginners. Maybe not the E46 M3, but maybe like a 330i, 328i, whatever other variations there are. I don't think you could go wrong with this platform as a starting point. So let's talk about the cost of ownership and the cost to operate this vehicle. So an M3 E46 is a relatively expensive car, especially in this post-COVID market. They're getting really expensive, minimum $20,000 car. So that's a really big upfront cost. Now you might be able to save money buying a salvage title car, rebuilt title car, whatever you want to call it, and save some cost there. And especially if it's going to be a drift car, maybe that doesn't matter to you. So taking that in mind, the upfront cost to buy this car is probably still going to be $12,000 to $15,000. But where you save money is you don't really have to worry about ever putting more power into the car. You don't have to worry about putting a different differential in the car or welding it. You can leave this a very streetable car actually, so you can really dual purpose this car. The aftermarket of this car is starting to come alive. More angle kits are being available, coilovers are available already, all the grip chassis stuff is available, and now all the drift specific stuff starting to come out. So you do have aftermarket support on this car. So the cost to operate this car at a normal drift event, you're looking at a stock power level, which is a key part to this recipe. You're probably looking at starting with a brand new pair of tires in the day and running through either 1 to 2 pairs depending on how much you drive. But realistically speaking, you can get a pair of Ironmans to get you through the whole day if you're adamant about watering them down, letting them cool off, and not overcooking them during runs. By overcooking, I mean, are you driving 10 laps in a row, or are you doing 3 laps and cooling off, right? So with that said though, the car doesn't really eat through tire too aggressively, which is something to take into account when you're factoring in these costs. Now the cost of maintenance costs are a little higher. These parts are a little more expensive than your typical base model BMW, like a 325i, or some Japanese car equivalent like a 350Z. With that said, the car is relatively easy to work on. The inline 6 does promote easier workability. I know there's that stigma of German cars are terrible to work on, but really they're not too bad, especially these inline 6 cars. All right guys, so to summarize, this car, fantastic platform to drive, doesn't need that much. It's a great car out of the box to drive and go, and you can drive this car to the track, drift, and drive it home, which the owner, Kevin, is going to be doing tonight after this event, which is really awesome to say, right? It's got back seats still. If you need back seats for some reason, they're somewhat usable. They're not too bad. This is a really good dual purpose car, and a really fun car to drive at that. I love this car a lot. I thought it was really fun to drive, and it was a real big joy to drive. So I have a hard time not suggesting this, other than financially, if this isn't in your budget. If you need something that's sub $10,000, this isn't your car. Maybe a 330i, 325i would be the better choice. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I answered any questions to any prospective buyers of getting one of these for drifting. If you guys have any questions about this car, please leave some comments down below, and I'll answer as best as I can. And thank you for watching. And quick update, back to making videos. I kind of took a break, got really burnt out earlier this year. Life hit the fan and spread everywhere, so I got really burnt out and just didn't have the capacity to make videos. I think I'm going to stop making the vlog videos of when I go to events. I still drove a lot this year, I just haven't recorded anything. And part of the reason is those videos don't do that good. They're just not that good, and I don't have the time to upload daily like a lot of other automotive vloggers do. But I do really enjoy making these car review videos, and the car review videos do great, so I'm going to continue to do this. I hope this drift review is a good niche to find. Please let me know what you guys think. If you're a new viewer to my channel, please let me know if you like this format, and I'll keep going and building it up. So with that said, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right guys, so we got the same angle kit as the red one, same final drive, but this one has a welded diff. That's going to be the main difference. Otherwise, everything else is pretty similar. So we're going to go ahead and drive it. Just get a feel for it. Oh, that power band feels so good. Diff feels a lot more consistent. The car feels really similar actually between limited slip and welded diff, but it feels a little more actually slower to rotate, where the limited slip kind of snapped a little more. But getting on power kind of yielded the same result. It kind of zipped up and hunkered down and went. So it really changes, the diff changes the profile, the way the car drives on entry, really. But it actually felt slower to rotate. It felt like it was harder to do a backseat just because it didn't get to that angle. I had to flick it a little harder. But mid and exit felt the same as the limited slip model. So I think that's the biggest difference in taking away from driving the two.